out, there was a black minister in Chicago who said he was so opposed to gay marriage that if the Ku Klux Klan was against gay marriage, I'll ride with the Klan. But liberal Republicans, the mainstream media, the Wall Street Journal, and the Wall Street Journal's favorite presidential candidate, Mitch Daniels of Indiana, keep telling us, no, stay away from those divisive social issues. Don't mention the ice cream sundae and the creme brulee. Give the voters spinach, it's good for them. This is utter madness, but time and time again, Republicans fall for it. The kicker is, Democrats running for office this year are totally in a bind on gay marriage. They either have to agree with Republicans on gay marriage, or they have to agree with Obama on gay marriage, and they don't want to agree with either one of them. If anything, Republicans should sneak into office running against abortion and gay marriage and then secretly cut taxes in the dead of night. Recall that Reagan, our most pro-life president ever, he wrote a book. He was the first president to write a book while in office, in defense of life. He won 2 landslide elections. He won in my home state of Connecticut, and they're no good in Connecticut. New York, California, New Jersey, he won these states in landslides. There's a reason Bill and Hillary Clinton, Al Gore, and John Edwards all oppose gay marriage, and it's not because they respect marriage. So I understand why the media wants Republicans to drop social issues. I don't know why Republicans want us to drop the social issues. It's idiotic statements like the ones from Mitch Daniels, the governor of Indiana, that, oh, if he ran for president, I think we need to push the social issues aside, just concentrate on the spinach, the fiscal issues, is because of idiotic statements by elected Republicans that the Tea Party rose up in the first place. Yes, we're worried about the country going bankrupt. The reason I've been talking about the popularity of social issues, things like gay marriage and abortion, and not their intrinsic merit, is that I figured in a room full of evangelicals, I didn't have to talk you out of gay marriage. But to quickly summarize the argument, despite the degradation of having to agree with Barack Obama on anything, the reason Americans are against gay marriage, their right to be against gay marriage, is because this is the one way we know to bring children into the world. Have a mother and a father married to one another for life. There is no recently told me that the propeller that holds, or the nut that holds the propeller on a helicopter, there's one nut, only one nut for that whole propeller to keep the helicopter in the air. One nut. You know what it's called? The Jesus nut. Marriage is the Jesus nut of civilization. Exactly why marriage has been under relentless attack by the left for 30 years now. They want to destroy the family so that your loyalty can be directly to the government. In gays' defense, they had nothing to do with what's been happening to marriage for the last 30 years. They weren't even paying attention. They come to the sexual revolution window 30 years later and say, we'd like our piece, and the country explodes. But Americans didn't go for those changes either. We're not the ones who wanted no-fault divorce and abortion on demand and palimony and alimony and women having rights to a man's bank account who is not her husband by virtue of giving birth, or cad men busting up the adoptions just because he happened to be present in the room at the moment of conception. Like gay marriage, those changes were mostly forced on the country by the courts. But we know, and I don't care how many studies Ted Olson produces saying that, oh no, the kids of 2 gay guys married turn out just fine, they're no more likely to be gay, they're very well adjusted. I have been reading those same happy stories in the New York Times for 20 years about how, oh, the children of divorce divorced do fine. The children of single mothers are fine, and blended families, and look how happy everyone is. And oops, 30 years later, the evidence is in, single motherhood and divorce are a disaster for children. Young people are so screwed up, they're taking their political advice from Stephen Colbert and Lady Gaga. As I described in my book, Guilty, about 70% of rapists, murderers, teenage runaways, high school dropouts, children in juvenile delinquent homes, girls who get pregnant out of wedlock, girls impregnated by Kevin Federline, all come from single mother homes. Amazingly, and you will hear me cite the statistic over and over and over again because it is a shocking statistic from a liberal think tank, the Progressive Policy Institute. This is also in Guilty. If you remove one factor, the factor of illegitimacy, the difference in black and white crime rates disappears. And I got one more fact for you since you have those 95 babies. And I love this. I was not adopted, my niece was adopted. They're never studying adopted children because adopted children all turn out fine. They're well adjusted, they feel like they're part of the family. Adopted children turn out better than the non-adopted children. That's a stunning fact, also in my book, Guilty. That's why, even if it is unpopular at the ballot box, and I know Christians don't need to be told not to worry about being unpopular. In fact, we kind of prefer it. But sadly for you Christians, you're very popular on this one. Even if you were a complete, craven, moralist, without a sense of decency politician, you ought to be against abortion and against gay marriage just to help yourself get elected. That explains Bill Clinton on it. And by the way, that is pretty much what I told the gays a couple of weeks ago in New York. I have never failed to talk gays out of gay marriage. They just want to feel like they're liked. And I've told them, you have no idea what a sinner I was. I still am. Not as bad. But back to the current crisis. The president, Obama. We have the nation collapsing, the election in 3 weeks. Obama wants to impose a European-style economic system on the last free country in the world. He wants to turn us into a bunch of mediocre Swedes sitting by the fire wearing sweaters. And by the way, there is nothing like this church any place on the entire continent of Europe. There's certainly you met your match with the American people. We are not Sweden. God bless the American people. They are not buying this. At this point, Obama's approval rating is about 40%. And the best thing most respondents had to say about him was that he's one of the least dangerous people they know named Hussein. Staunchest supporters are abandoning him right now. Last week, Michelle Obama demanded to see a copy of his birth certificate. So really take advantage of this moment in time. I've written up my own contract with America. I know the House Republicans did, but mine's better. As you'll recall, the first contract with America in 1994 was so successful, it forced the Democrats to give up control of the House. They gave up control of the Senate, and Bill Clinton almost gave up dating. So to conclude, I will give you my contract with America 10 simple yet common sense rules. First, allow insurance companies to compete across state lines. Second, build a 200-foot wall surrounded by a moat full of crocodiles around every inch of the U.S. Third, outlaw the broadcasting of any TV show with the word Kardashian in it. 3, cut income taxes. 5, cut capital gains taxes. to Obama's teleprompter.
Yay!
7% all stimulus spending. 8% all bailout money. 9% Joe Biden's membership in the Hair Club. And finally, for the gals in the audience and to get the soccer mom vote, we demand that Scott Brown, Senator of Massachusetts, appear nude in Cosmo again.